we started making pieces, and that got into the hands of Kanye and Rihanna. It was born out of a project that me and Yoon had. We were doing record covers, and she was styling, and it was a creative collective.
You started Ambush in 2008, and then I think you guys sold a majority of the shares to New Guards Group,
yeah.
Which is like an Italian holdings company, right? I believe they also work with brands like Off-White.
Yeah.
And then this year in the spring, you guys bought all the shares back and now own the company fully again. I'm curious to know, like, are there stages between what's your mindset when it comes to, okay, like, let me work with this group, at that time, okay, let's get full ownership back. Like, what was that thought process and experience like?
Fashion and even music was something that I kind of stumbled into. So I always loved music. So since we were in high school, I would have a band and, I aspired to be a musician, but, reality strikes and, your parents are like, you're not going to be a rapper for your career. So I decided to go to college, graduate, but end up becoming a rapper. But I didn't.
But you joined Smith Barney in between, right?
Yeah, I had a brief stint in that space, but I had to come back to Japan to just make money for
So
tuition.
was that in Tokyo office?
Smith Barney? No, that was in Boston.
It was in Boston.
Yeah,
Okay.
like in '97. Yeah.
Was that like right after graduating?
Yeah, it's kind of like I interned and went in.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So it was
for you and.
Well, I think I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. And when I came back to Japan, my music started, but I never had a training in music. But that started rolling, picking up. Going back to Ambush, I didn't have a fashion training. It was born out of a project that me and Yoon had, which is a design agency. So we were designing merch for different brands. We were doing record covers, and she was styling, and it was a creative collective. And in 2008, we started making pieces to give out to people, and that got into the hands of Kanye and Rihanna and just people who are traveling. And when they wear it, it's a big visibility, right?
There must have been like a turning point. Like they don't just like pick it up, right? Like, how did that happen?
So, because as a rapper, I always aspired to make my own jewelry. So I would make my own pieces, and people say, hey, where'd you make that? So I said, I designed it and I just make it for myself with my jeweler. And people go, hey, make me one. So that started picking up as a fun kind of like commission kind of business, but I never really thought of it as something of a brand. But when that got really fun, so I decided, I want to share this design idea. So we started making pieces out of, shinju. How do you say that?
I don't know what shinju.
Brass. So sorry, yeah,
Brass.
brass, and we paint over it, and that became our signature POW rings and POW chains. It was just like two SKUs, just like a necklace and a chain, but it was very trendy. I guess it created like a movement at that time because people were experimenting with different fashion, and it just really went with a lot of the wardrobes at that time. So I think with the fluorescent colors and it was very catchy. So people decided, oh, this really goes with the outfits popping. It's from Tokyo. And it's like things were starting to pick up back then. So when I would meet these artists, people from all walks of life, I would say, hey, like, here's what we made, check it out. It's like, we're just like starting this new brand. And people were like, oh, cool. And they would, so there was no we weren't trying to promote it. We were just giving it out to people, and they started wearing it. And when they wear it, we would have stores calling us or like emailing us, and they were like, hey, can we order? I'm like, okay, cool. So we started sending boxes out of our apartments, and that was 2008. And in 2015, that's when we first actually incorporated Ambush.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
So it's more like a project.
it was just a project within our company, in our agency that I told you about.
Yeah.
And from there, it was very quick. So 2016, we opened our first store in Shibuya. And and New Guards Group, we joined them in 2020. And then COVID hit. So that was wasn't like the best time for us. And, as a business, it took like, we had to like figure things out. And yeah, I guess at the same time, New Guards Group was also under Farfetch. It was another, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of, you know, post-merger integration that wasn't happening there. And it kind of trickled down to us. And I think for us as a brand coming from outside in, whereas the other brands within that entity was all kind of produced, or it kind of started within the Italian entity. So it was like a different culture, different ideas about how we want to run the business. And like going back to what you're saying about Japanese craftsmanship, and I guess the way we think was a little bit different. So you know, we just decided like maybe it's just better that, you know, we part ways. So it was it took a while for us to MBO, but it just happened this April. Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what were because I'm sure there were some pros or like things that you could leverage being under a brand like that, right?
Yeah.
What were some of those things? And I'm curious, now that you guys are back being independent, what are you excited to kind of kickstart or redo or?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. It was really good for us to experience Italian craftsmanship, meet the different manufacturers, and like see how the other brands within the entity scaled. Like, you know, we were with Off-White, Palm Angels, and that was like the height of street luxury, you know? So that was very, very exciting for us. So I learned a lot being in that group, but I think the vision of the whole group, in the beginning when we joined, I think it was about, you know, garnering the different cultural brands from all over the world and creating synergy between them. So in the beginning, we would have, you know, Virgil. I knew Virgil. Virgil's the first guy who ordered Ambush in the US.
Wow.
He used to do this store in Chicago called RSVP Gallery with Don C. And it was like Kanye was behind it. So, you know, he would order Ambush and do custom pieces. So he went to New Guards Group, so we trusted him. You know, Peggy Goo had a brand called Kieran, so it was like a lot of people were gathering. It was really energetic and cool. But I think once things started rolling, you know, they had a certain way of doing business, and it didn't really cater to each of the brand directors, you know. And I think if you don't subscribe to that specific way, it's kind of difficult to, you know, if you don't roll with the same business mindset, like it's just kind of hard to, you know, create synergy, so to speak.
Right. You
Yeah,
kind of have to follow their vision, not just yours, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it was just a mixture of like, you know, different philosophy, different like, for example, you know, like they're in Italy, but we're in Japan. And let's say we had a store in Shanghai, and if we wanted to restock something, we would have to have them make it, and then, you know, and then send it to China. I would say like, why can't we just manufacture it in Japan and send it? But they were like, no, it has to be centralized here. And then that just made everything expensive, took time. And so, yeah, it was just a lot of inefficiencies that I saw, which could have been fixed. But, you know, we were like a smaller brand within the ecosystem. So it was kind of hard for our voices to be heard. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of a lot of things. But for us, we just felt like, you know, it might be better if we just take the, you know, driver's seat again.